In a move towards ensuring that the process of the national dialogue is credible, inclusive and transparent to end the conflict in the country, the leadership of the steering committee, headed by co-chair Angelo Beda, held fruitful meeting with representatives of former political detainees and discussed matters related to the current conflict in the country and possible ways of addressing them through the national dialogue process. Shortly after the meeting, I conducted an interview with the co-chair Angelo Beda and asked him to explain the outcome of their meeting with a representative of former political detainees, and here he answered.
We were able to reach a number of consensus on certain issues that we can get engaged with them on as time goes on. And this is really what we are looking for, because if we are able to get 1, 2, 3 of the opposition outside in this nature, we would have a framework, a vision as to how we shall have the dialogue completely under the principle of inclusivity, transparency, and the trust, because the question of trust also arose and we discussed it. So the meeting was very successful with the FD under the chairmanship of Kosti Manibe.
On the same occasion, I inquired from Dr. Francis Mading, who is a reporter, to know how the stand and view of the former political detainees on the national dialogue process, and here Francis explained.
What's the stand of the FDs towards the national dialogue?
They are supportive of the national dialogue, but they have ideas of how it should proceed. They have ideas of inclusivity. They have ideas of consultations that should also be reflected in the formation of the steering committee. Consultations that would also mean talking to people, not necessarily just in Juba, but also outside the country. There are variations in points of view, but agreement on the fact that national dialogue is a good thing and is needed. I think we did explore both the areas where we, of course, differ and areas where it is possible to find a consensus. We are not here to negotiate, but we are here, of course, as we do in Juba, to gather the points of view of different constituencies or different stakeholders, and this will be part of the ongoing dialogue that will culminate in the national conference. I think we have made progress in discussing with FDs, and we're leaving with a lot of material for thought.
Meanwhile, Betia Chan emphasized on the commitment of the steering committee to ensure that lasting peace, security and stability is achieved in South Sudan through the national dialogue process.
They also talked very well of how other stakeholders can get involved so that national dialogue does not become a monologue. It should become a dialogue that can include everybody. One major concern that they repeatedly said, and which we also had as a steering committee, is about the ceasefire. That without a ceasefire in South Sudan, even the dialogue cannot be carried out properly. So we will continue to pursue dialogue with everybody and also among ourselves and see how ceasefire can really be established so that national dialogue can reach at the grassroots and also at a top level.
The meeting of the leadership of the steering committee followed the recent visit of the high-level delegation of the national dialogue to South Africa to consult with Dr. Riek Machar and the leadership of South Africa towards the national dialogue process. It is worthy mention that the leadership of the steering committee is reaching out to all the political forces and masses within and outside the country to answer the question of inclusivity and transparency of the national dialogue process. Gore Anthony, SSBC News, Nairobi, Kenya.